I request Mr. Akhilesh Rathi, President IMA and MD Savit Universal Limited, to escort on stage Dr. Himanshu Rai, Chairman of IMA Board and Director of IIM Indore, Mr. Shri Gopal Kabra, MD and Group President of RR Global, Mr. Sanjay Jain, MD of TT Limited, and Mr. Sanjay Agrawal, Director and CEO of AU Small Finance Bank. May I request all the dignitaries on the stage to do the honors of lamp lighting ceremony. And may I also request Mr. Satish Chandra Gupta, DGM of State Bank of India, to also join for the lamp lighting ceremony. Thank you. May I now request Mr. Sanjeev Khanna from Patanjali Foods Limited and Ms. Shonali Paul, Board Member of IMA, to do the honors of giving floral welcome and presenting mementos to Dr. Himanshu Roy. Take me. Now I request Ms. Sushma Nandi from Business Automations and Mr. Santosh Muchal, CA and past President of IMA, to do the honors of welcoming and giving memento to Mr. Shri Gopal Kabra ji. I now request Mr. Prateek Maheshwari and Mr. Vijay Goyal to do the honors of welcome and presenting mementos to Mr. Sanjay Jain. पैक ही देना. May I now request Mr. Anil Joshi from Vishal Fab and Mr. Girish Mangla from Mangla Engineering to do the honors of welcoming Mr. Sanjay Agrawal and presenting the memento. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Himanshu Rai, Chairman of Board of Governors of IMA, to declare this conclave open.
Very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. I declare the 30th IMA International Management Conclave open.
Thank you, sir. And with this, we present to you the countdown and curtain raiser.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now I invite Mr. Akhilesh, IMA President. Thank you. Now I invite Mr. Akhilesh Rathi, President of IMA, to give the welcome address. When we have all the speakers, if you have any questions, you can send us the slips.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. That's the energy needed at IMA. There is a saying at IMA that there are 20, 30 presidents working all the time. And I am just by name and designation named as president. But what you see today, the entire energy is all the IMA committee members, the board members, and whom we call very dearly as Team IMA. So I'm welcoming you all on behalf of the Team IMA, a very warm and hearty welcome to all of you. Warm welcome to our honorable speakers, respected delegates, and dear students. Welcome to the 30th International Management Conclave hosted by the Indore Management Association. In these 2 days, we'll have exciting time with 23 speakers spread over 15 sessions, speaking on the theme of reinvent, evolve, and lead. Speaking is not just the lectures, there are fireside chats, there are panel discussions, and there are for young people, for startups, there are side sessions which will benefit them. IMA, you will be delighted to know, was formed in 1963, and this is the 30th International Management Conclave hosted at Indore. I am also happy to share that IMA has been adjudged as the best management association in the country 15 times. Further glad to share that last 3 years we have continuously won the award. Welcome our guest of honors in the inaugural session, Shri Sanjay Agarwal, Managing Director and CEO, AU Small Bank. Of course, the name is Small Bank, but he is a big bank now. So welcome, sir. Shri Gopalji Kabra, who is the Managing Director and President of the RR Cable Group. Shri Sanjay Jain, Managing Director of TT Limited, a very famous author and an industry leader. And of course, our own Dr. Himanshu Rai, the Director of IIM Indore. You know, as a child, we have grown seeing one blue tin dabba. The tin dabba contained coconut oil. And as a child till now, the only thing that has changed in our coconut oil, that it has become from a tin dabba, a tin box, to a nice blue bottle of different shapes. The credit of this transformation and building the largest brand of coconut oil in the country goes to none other than Mr. Harsh Mariwala, who is the chairman of Marico Limited. We welcome him. He is our awardee for the Lifetime Achievement Award for the last year, 2021. Another brand which has made important inroads in our life is Fevicol. We all, if you think of an adhesive, Fevicol, Fevikwik, Fevistick, M-Seal, and nowadays Dr. Fixit as waterproofing chemical. The person behind the grand success of this organization, which has made Mr. Madhukar Parekh the 16th richest Indian on the Forbes list, chairman of Pidilite, is our Lifetime Achievement Awardee for the year 2022. We heartily welcome Mr. Madhukar Parekh as well. Those who are patronizing IMA for last many decades must be surprised over this change, because we have been hosting all our programs in the Abhay Prashal, which was a sports arena, wherein there are 3,000 students in the galleries and about 1,000 people from the corporates on the floor. There has been a continuous demand to accommodate more corporates, more industries, more professionals, more business entrepreneurs. Therefore, with increased capacity of 50%, we have shifted it to Brilliant Convention Center. So welcome all the delegates, all the new companies, all the new businesses who are supporting IMA. In fact, this year also, there are 21 student chapters from 21 colleges. More than 2,000 students are there online. So welcome all the students. Even today here, we have more than 300 students in this hall. Welcome all my young friends. There is a welcome to all the 23 speakers. I have mentioned about our awardees and the gentlemen on the dais. But I also welcome Mr. Anand Sen, Managing Director of Tata International Limited, Mr. Sunil Rohkale, Managing Director of ASK Investments, Dr. Satya Gupta, Founder and CEO of VLSI Society, Mr. MP Vijay Kumar, who is the CFO of SIFI, Lieutenant General Dr. Rajesh Pant, Cyber Security Expert in the Prime Minister's Office, Mr. Anubrata Viswas, who is the Managing Director of Airtel Payment Bank, Ms. Richa Anirudh, author and media personality, Honorable Minister of State for External Affairs and Culture, Ms. Meenakshi Lekhi, and in the end today, we'll hear the words of wisdom from none other than Swami Gyan Vatsalji from BAPS, Ahmedabad. That will end the day 1. On day 2, again, it's a power-packed session. I will request you all to make the best of it. We have Ms. Usha Barwale, who is the Managing Director of Maheko Seeds, Padam Shri Savji Bhai Dholakia, Hare Krishna Exports, the Diamond King of the country. Then we have the most coveted, most respected spiritual leader, Mahatriya Ra, the head of Infinitum, Mr. Gunjan Shah, MD of Bata Limited, Mr. Nilesh Shah, Managing Director of Kotak Mutual Fund, Mr. Bala, sorry, and of course our motivational leader, Mr. Simarjeet Singh, who has been a champion motivational life coach. Welcome, welcome all of you. Thank you very much for coming to Indore on our invite and blessing with your words of wisdom to IMA. Thank you very much.
Before I invite our next speaker, Mr. Sanjay Jain, to address this audience, may I request for his AV introduction, please.
Mr. Sanjay K. Jain. Sanjay K. Jain is Managing Director of TT Limited. He's a gold medalist from IIM Ahmedabad, apart from being a cost accountant and company secretary. He was awarded the Udyog Ratna Award in 2010. He's the Vice President of FOHMA and WBHA. He is also on the committee of NITRA, NITMA, SIMA, CITI, and FICC Textiles Group. He also has represented FOHMA on the Cotton Yarn Advisory Board, subgroup on textiles and apparels for 12th five-year plan. He is also a member of the core committee promoting the first hosiery park in India coming up in West Bengal. He is also active in social projects and is a trustee of TT Charitable Trust, which runs a hospital. Sanjay is the convener of UDAN, an innovative social education initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the visionary, Mr. Sanjay K. Jain.
Welcome, sir.
A very good morning to everyone here, on the dais, off the dais. Can I have the AV, my presentation? Yeah. As Dr. Rai said, MBAs are always expected to speak on whatever topic they are given. A day before yesterday evening, I got an email that you have to speak on to lead but not bleed. So for a moment, I was just pondering what exactly I should speak on that. But I think so I got a very good hint from Dr. Rai. Really told us about how you need to plan, reinvent, evolve and lead. And Kabraji gave a very good instance of how throughout his career, the ups and downs and how he's led from the front and breaking a lot of creating a lot of new records, new milestones in life. But now I'm going to talk about something very, very simple. You know, we're getting from the bigger things, the bigger picture, to something very, very vast track, what we do on our daily lives. I'm sure accepting the students, all of you are leaders in your own right. Some are CEOs, CFOs, some are heading certain departments, projects, etc., etc. So leadership is what, when we talk of management, leadership is always spoken with it. But many of you must be wondering, what do you mean by bleeding? Fine, we know how to lead, but what do you mean by bleeding? How many of you in the audience know what it means to lead but not to bleed? Can we have hands to see how many of you understand? So I wasn't the only person who didn't understand anything. But, AI, my wife immediately used chat GPT. She put in to lead but not to bleed, and a whole presentation came out. So that was really amazing, and that's the presentation I'm going to be showing you. But what Dr. Rai said that, just having AI in itself is not good enough. We need to put emotions, philosophy, we need to put ourselves in it, and then exactly it becomes a complete thing. But yes, we can be much smarter. Then I gave this presentation which came on WhatsApp. My wife sent it to my daughter. In 15 minutes, she put it on Canva, and the presentation was ready. So that's how we do smart leadership. And MBAs never just need a intuition and idea about what we need to be talking about, and then the rest flows. I'm sure a lot of you are MBAs. I would know, हम कहते हैं ना, हम लोग को ज्ञान देना बड़ा अच्छे से आता है. कोई कहीं भी बुला ले, ज्ञान दे देते हैं. Before I start formally my presentation, I'd like to thank Mr. Akhilesh Rathi and Mr. Rakesh for having called me here. Both are known to me from before. One from the textile field domain and the other from the social domain. And it was very nice for them to have me invited, and I'm really pleasantly surprised to see what IMA stands for. And now I can understand when Mr. Rathi said you've been winning the award year after year. I really can understand. It's very rare to see such a good audience and such a grand setup with an elite number of speakers over the next 2 days. So congratulations to IMA, and I'm sure you'll continue the good work. Now, what does lead but not to bleed mean? A leader, by definition, is one who's responsible for everything, has the authority. Thank you. Yeah, that's going to help. Unfortunately, I have to bend back to see, where my slides are. So a leader is a person who has authority, responsibility, and who takes it up, that good or bad, I am answerable. We all know that. That's very basic definition of leadership. But typically, most of us, while leading, also start bleeding. Number one, especially if we are creators, so we started from level 1. So once we move to level 3, 4, 5, we forget that we need to leave level 1 and 2 for others and move up to a higher level. Unfortunately, we always carry that baggage with us when we are moving up. And I'll request you all to do a simple exercise if possible on Monday morning. One day, in the evening before you leave office, just jot down what you have done that whole day. A simple jot. And just try to see how many things that you have done are worthy of you as a leader in whatever position you hold, and whatever things could have been easily delegated to someone down the line. Try to see, we always say we are short of resources, and the biggest constraint to grow in life is human resources. So it starts for us, it starts for our senior management. Before looking for new people, can we unlock our and our top management own potential? Can we free ourselves from things which someone down the line can do and also learn? Because it's also our responsibility as leaders to nurture talent, to give them an opportunity to learn, of course make mistakes also on the way, but get better and better as they move ahead. So that's what we mean, that don't keep doing everything yourself. Don't constrain yourself by doing minute details and spending 70 or 80 or even 90% of your time doing things which are routine, mundane, because if you are there, you're never really going to be a leader. You'll be a leader just by a designation. You're not going to be a leader by the work you do or what we say, the karma. And I'm sure we all want to be leaders by action and not just by name. There were 5 basic points which ChatGPT put down. So I'll frame my presentation around that. First of all, we all know you need to know how to delegate. The biggest thing which a leader needs to do if he has to stop bleeding, He needs to learn how to delegate. He needs to create an ecosystem where work is done without his presence. I have simultaneously chaired many associations of national stature and still done my business. I don't have 3 brothers or 4 brothers supporting me or running me. It's just me and my wife. And we could still do it. Even now when I'm coming here, work is happening everywhere. And I make a point that I will never let any email or WhatsApp go unanswered when I sleep in the night. So no one gets stopped because of my lack of response. But I'm never involved in doing the day-to-day activities. We create systems, we create processes so that we are able to delegate responsibly. People can learn, nurture their talents. So if you're not doing it on Monday, once you've noted down all that you did in the day, on Tuesday morning, mull and think over it. What all can I delegate? What all is there that I don't need to do it? I'm sure it's a simple exercise. It may look stupid to some, but trust me, on Tuesday morning, you'll be remembering Mr. Jain कि हाँ मैं हल्का हो गया हूँ. काफी काम मुझे actually करने की जरूरत नहीं है. I never really thought about it. Second is another very simple concept, set boundaries. Yani we don't have to please everyone in this world. We can't please. We feel we are pleasing everyone in this world, but we actually are not. And हमारे जैन धर्म में एक concept है अनेकांतवाद, which says that multiple perspectives. I'm sure some of you are Jains here also would understand, but what it basically means is just because I am right doesn't mean the other person is wrong, and vice versa. The same truth can be different for different people. And if you remember a childhood story of 5 blind men and an elephant, you'll remember that all were right and yet no one had the ultimate truth. So don't try to do everything yourself. Don't try to please. Every time it's not necessary to be 100% correct. Sometimes 80 to 90% is sufficient because the last 10% takes up so much of energy, so much of an effort that maybe it's not worthwhile in many cases. So decide what you should do, what you not. Create an ABC analysis of your life, of your business. And all things I'm telling don't necessarily apply only to business. They apply to each and every walk of our life. So do your own ABC analysis. Create your boundaries, what you will do, what you will not do, what others would do, and what you're not going to bother about. Again, a very famous English saying, no work and all work and no play makes Jack and Jill dull. So please take regular breaks. It's not a crime to be not working. And nowadays the new concept is you have gyms and offices. At 5 everyone goes to the gym, comes back, has a shower and gets back to work. And that's being the new trend in IT, high pressure consultancy, etc. So always mix, because a fresh mind, an energetic mind can produce multiple times more than a tired mind can. That's why they always say, though I know most students will not agree today, वो कहते हैं सुबह ब्रह्म काल में अगर आप उठ के पढ़ते हो, तो the absorption power is multiple times than when we are studying at 11, 12, 2 o'clock in the night. But of course nowadays I think so, no one sleeps till it's early morning. So that does not apply. But still, let's keep ourselves fresh. Let's give a break not only to ourselves, but to all others around us. Let's understand just like us, they are human beings. We need the best from them. And it's not only hard work which gets you everywhere. Smart work is as much important with hard work. And that's what we call professionalism. Professionalism is nothing but creating systems, creating processes to do a difficult work easily. Just like we learned in physics that one rod, if put below a stone, could lift a stone more easily than just picking up the stone. Because we were able to leverage, amplify and multiply our own resources, our own strengths by using simple processes and systems. So create breaks, energize your team so that they can move ahead, and make sure they also stay focused. So you need to prioritize. As I earlier said, you need to do an ABC of life. You need to say ये काम आज ज़रूरी है, ये कल ज़रूरी है, परसों ज़रूरी है, ताकि ऐसा नहीं है कि हम हर काम रोज कर रहे हैं. Some meetings are good enough once a week. Some meetings are good enough fortnightly. Some meetings are good enough 1 month. Just because कोई management guru ने आपको आके बताया review and review doesn't mean that you sit on everyone's head and keep reviewing. Give them space, let them work, let them make mistakes. Then you let them come, point out to them, recreate your systems, as they say, reinvent, evolve to make a better tomorrow. We cannot change to yesterday. We cannot even change today once it's past. But we definitely can learn and change tomorrow. So please create a proper plan for yourself, work according to it, and make sure your team, whatever you do, should be imbibed and built in your team right till the end. But these are small things. देखने में बड़ी छोटी बातें लगती है, लेकिन मैं आपको कह सकता हूँ, the smallest things are the easiest things to do. You know, बहुत बार we hear a lot of people preaching बड़ी बड़ी बातें, big things, but how many of us can actually do it tomorrow? हम भूल जाते हैं, क्योंकि कल हम कर नहीं सकते हैं. अब एक साल कौन तपस्या करेगा कुछ करने के लिए? So I always believe I've written a small book also, a pinch of salt in the recipe called life. उसका मतलब ही यही है कि I can only add pinch of salt in your life, but that pinch of salt is so impactful. जैसे बेस्ट से बेस्ट खाने में अगर थोड़ी सी नमक, एक चुटकी भर नमक कम हो जाए, the best food is you will not enjoy it. So उस चुटकी का नमक को अंडरमाइन मत कीजिए. ये मत सोचिए कि यार ये तो 1% है, it's the last 1%, but it's spoils the rest 99% if you don't have that 1% in the right place. So always pay attention to the small things which can make big changes in your life, and it's going to make a real big difference to whatever you do. And I can guarantee you this, I'm a regular mentor, even I do paid mentorship. I only give very, very simple things and very simple ideas. I just know कि आज से अपने को कल better होना है. And many people tell me कि sir मैं तो इतना brilliant नहीं हूँ. I have not gone to IIM Ahmedabad. I don't have that sort of resources. How can I be disruptive? How can I make big changes in life? तो मैं एक दिवाली का simple example आपके पास छोड़ के जाऊँगा. दिवाली में एक चॉकलेट बॉम्ब होता था. आई डोंट नो आपके यहाँ, हम लोग कैलकाटा में उसको चॉकलेट बॉम्ब बोलते थे, जो बड़ा धमाका करता था. और एक हमारे पास लड़ी होती थी, एक एक करके लड़ी जुड़ती थी 5,000 10,000 की. तो एक लड़ी अगर आप छोड़ दे तो कोई इम्पैक्ट ही नहीं होता था, यू नॉट इवन हियर इट. बट जब वो 5,000 या 10,000 की हम एक चेन बना देते थे ऑफ दो स्मॉल लड़ीज, उसका धमाका चॉकलेट बॉम्ब से ज़्यादा होता था. तो अगर कोई ये सोचता है कि मैं काबिल नहीं हूं टू मेक डिस्ट्रप्टिव एंड आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स चेंजेस, यू आर सैडली मिस्टेकन. चेंज इनटू चेंज इनटू चेंज इनटू चेंज can be as big as any disruption, any innovation, any invention in this world. Every day, religiously, make incremental changes in your life. अपने जिंदगी को कल से बेहतर बनाइए, और ये incremental changes आपको एक साल में कहाँ ले जाएगी? The power of multiplying, the power of exponential growth. हम देखते हैं ना, when we put exponential growth, वो figure छोटा लगता है, but if we actually do the mathematical calculation, the number is huge and big. And finally, the last thought, adopt a positive mindset. जैसे डॉक्टर राय ने बताया आपको, please, for God's sake, don't allow failures to bog you down. I am a business person. Kabra ji also told you his stories. Failures तो होने ही है, और every day आपको कहीं ना कहीं failure का एहसास होगा. Even when you're doing good in life and everything is in your favor, फिर भी कुछ ना कुछ गड़बड़ हो रहा है कहीं ना कहीं, which is a small setback. और setbacks are very, very important. जब तक setbacks नहीं होंगे, actually आप कहीं नहीं जा रहे हैं. आपको लग रहा है आप जा रहे हो, लेकिन आप कहीं नहीं जा रहे हो. So welcome the failures. और one professor in IIM Ahmedabad taught me a very basic thing. Problems are opportunities to learn. Those who have had problems in life are the people who are actually are going to be much better equipped to face the bigger challenges of life. And I say, you may lose battles, but you will win the war. So with that mindset, I would like to leave you all. And I would love pinch of salt. मेरे book का नाम है. अगर किसी के कोई सोच हो, as I said, अनेकांतवाद, everyone has his own mindset. I would love to get your feedback, your ideas, because we keep improving. और मैं एक last चीज बोल के, सुनो और समझो सबकी. यानी सिर्फ सुनो नहीं, समझो सामने वाला क्या कह रहा है. उसके बाद में करो अपनी. You don't need to agree with anyone. But it is your duty, your responsibility, and especially as leaders, to first to listen and then to understand what's coming from the other side of the table. If we do that, I'm sure all of you are going to grow by leaps and bounds and be in a different orbit and a different trajectory, whatever you love to do in life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanjay ji, for adding that pinch of salt in our conclave and making it so simple. Thank you, sir. Friends, you heard the 4 stories of India's growth enablers. We have got so many questions, but we have limited time to give to Q&A. So I'll ask first question to Dr. Himanshu Rai. You have the cordless mic near you. This question comes from Vaishnav Vishwavidyapit. What prompted you to launch the elective course on justice, ethics, and morality?
Okay, so this is an interesting one. It was such a long time back that I organized this course called Justice, Ethics, and Morality, and happens to be a super subscribed course. The reason was threefold, in fact. The first reason was that I realized that many of my students who used to come to me were a little confused about the difference between good and bad and right and wrong. And they said, look, good and bad is something which is told to us by our religion, by our community, by our parents. So is it the same as ethics? And therefore, I wanted to differentiate between morality and ethics. That was one. The second reason was something that had happened in 2008. So, I started teaching leadership from 2006, and the definition of leadership at that point of time that was given in social sciences was that leadership is a process by which a person influences others to accomplish an objective and directs the organization in such a way that makes it cohesive and coherent. And I thought, brilliant, all encompassing. And then in 2008, something happened. And what happened? Satyam happened. Ramalingam Raju happened. I mean, here was a company called Satyam, and here was a person called Ramalingam. And then he scanned the country in such a way that 0.4% of our GDP got shaved down in that particular year itself. Of course, the Enrons had happened in 2001, and therefore we were already aware. And thus I said, here's a person who was revered so much. Where did he go wrong? And I realized that the definition of leadership actually lacked the presence of a moral compass. So that was my second reason. And the third reason was, every time I would talk about that definition, I would ask people to name some leaders who matched that definition. And people would name the usual, Mahatma Gandhi, J.R.E. Tata, and so on and so forth. However, the very first time I conducted this exercise, somebody also mentioned Hitler. Somebody also mentioned Osama bin Laden. And then when I looked at the definition, I realized that these two people also matched that definition. So there was nothing wrong with the people who were naming these people. There was something which was missing in the definition itself. And what was missing was the concept of fairness. And thus came to me the idea that instead of talking to people only about passion, look at the villains of the history. Everyone was passionate. What they lacked was compassion. And therefore, I thought I have to also talk about compassion, and that can come under justice, ethics, and morality.
Very right, sir. Passion to compassion. We have next question from Patanjali Foods for Mr. Kabra. And it says that SMEs in India have 2 categories. One is those who evolve and get ready for emerging opportunities. And second is those who always complain to government for support. How can second category be brought to first?
It's a mindset. Very simple. Second category, see, for SME, in this budget, there's a tremendous support. Government has given that if you don't get payment on time, through whom supply, he has to pay the tax. So their financial, this is the first time there is a total preference in this government for SME is very high. There is no issue. We also started SME. I have also, right now, we have some couple of business other than Conclave which are SME, and we are very happy. See, it's a simple, think differently, think long term, and focus on to create a foundation of your organization. Things will be changed.
Very good. We have next question from Mohini Fibers for Mr. Sanjay Jain. That Indian textile industry has been one of the largest employer traditionally. How can we grab global markets and remove unemployment from India?
I think so that's the dream of the government also. And I think so textiles and like many other industries is a global industry. And we should not compartmentalize us as a domestic industry, as an international industry. We should not only think global, a lot of us think global, but we don't act, but we act local. But if you want to be an international player, also act global, integrate and benchmark yourselves with the best in the world. Don't look at Indian companies, look at what's happening best in the world and focus and grow towards it. And as Mr. Kabra said, even if you're an MSME, please be focused, plan, dream big, have a vision, and I'm sure you'll capture global markets, because if we don't capture global markets, our industry is really not going to grow more than the Hindu rate of growth. So the real opportunity for Indian textile industry lies in that large global market which China is slowly vacating, and China plus one is now there to stay, and let that plus one be India. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have another question for Mr. Sanjay Agarwal from CA Alok Jain. That suddenly small finance has become big business. How can it really give a push and momentum to growth in economy and employment?
Sorry, you did repeat the question, sorry.
Small finance has become big business now.
Yeah.
How can it really give a push and momentum to growth in economy and employment?
No, I think we got this small because the structure was this, that it was a special vehicle for do a small financing, do priority sector, all those things. But that doesn't mean that we cannot scale up, right? And as I told you that we were around maybe 5 lakh customers in 2017 being an NBFC, but now we are around 3.5 million customers, right? We were around 3,000 people as employees, now we are 30,000 employees, right? We were around in 10 states, now we are around 20 states. So I think you have to design your whole business model in a way that it is scalable, right? It has to be scalable, it has to be standardized, has to be sustainable. So if you do these 3 things, then you can build a franchise. And if you build a franchise, then I think everything comes in play, which is whether you want to build more for your Indian economy or a world economy, or maybe you want to push for employees. I think then is a ripple effect which comes in play, right? So I think small is just a word, in my opinion, but you need to build more and more into it. Let's build more content. Let's build more kind of models which can be scalable. And then you get everything you want, right? So I think as far we are concerned, we know that we are a small finance bank, but we can operate like a big bank also, if our design allows us to do that.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Rakesh, I just want to add one thing. This concept that there is unemployment in the country, I think so it's a myth. Anyone who wants to work today in our country will find a job and an opportunity for sure, the way we are growing. Thank you.
Sanjay ji,
Issue is only of skill and unskill, right? Yeah.
Sanjay ji, there was one question which was very insistent to ask, although I am exceeding, is why do you recommend writing your own obituary? Sanjay ji.
That means someone has read my book.
Yes, someone has read your book. Yeah.
I think so, to find your real goals of life. It's the last chapter of my book. The best part is you sit down and feel after 5 years, if you're no more, and you had to write your own obituary, yourself. I think so. You do sit down and pen that down. You'll find your real objective of life, and you'll stop postponing things in life, and you'll get on to doing what you really want to do.
Thank you, sir.
Because that is the biggest truth of life.
Thank you, sir. My dear friends, we had a wonderful session on India's growth enablers. I can say that 75 years back, we had made a tryst with destiny to bring back our past glory. We have seen in this session that India's growth enablers are making this possible and inspiring all of us that in this Amrit Kal, India can reinvent and evolve so that we can lead the world. I can borrow words from my favorite poet, Dushyant, to share feelings of all of you that कि सिर्फ हंगामा खड़ा करना मेरा मकसद नहीं, सिर्फ हंगामा खड़ा करना मेरा मकसद नहीं, मेरी कोशिश है कि ये सूरत बदलनी चाहिए, मेरे सीने में नहीं तो तेरे सीने में सही, हो कहीं भी आग लेकिन आग जलनी चाहिए, आग जलनी चाहिए. Let this fire ignite our growth to lead the world. Now I invite Ms. Preeti Ladda and Mr. Sapan Shah to carry on the proceedings of award ceremony. Thank you everyone. Thank all of you.